Manufactured Minds: How Social Media Rewires You. That might sound a little dramatic for a podcast title, but let's just think about this for a second. Every single day, you wake up, you grab your phone, and you start scrolling. Not even thinking about it. It's just automatic. And what feels like random content to you isn't random at all. It's calculated. It's tailored. It's built specifically for you. What you laugh at, what you agree with, what makes you angry, what keeps you watching just a little bit longer. It's all being tracked. Every pause, every like, every second your eyes stay on that screen. And the crazy part is, it doesn't just learn from you, it starts shaping you slowly, subtly. Over time, the things you see more often start to feel more normal. The opinions you hear repeatedly start to feel like your own. Not because you chose them, but because they were chosen for you. And the scariest part is, you don't feel controlled. You feel like you're thinking for yourself. So the real question we should ask ourselves, are you actually in control of your thoughts? Or are you being rewired without even realizing it? This is Manufactured Minds. Welcome back to episode 2 of PSIND. But let's get back to the topic at hand. How many times have you opened your phone just to check one thing, and the next thing you know, it's been a half hour, 45 minutes, or maybe even an hour, and you're just sitting there like, what the hell did I even just watch? But here's the thing, none of it felt random, did it? It felt like everything you saw was exactly what you were interested in. Stuff you agree with, stuff you find funny, and stuff that makes you react. That's not luck. That's design. Because these apps aren't just showing us content, they're studying you and us. They're learning what keeps you there, what makes you stop scrolling, and what makes you double take, and also what makes you feel something. And once they figure that out, they don't just show you more of it, they start building your whole world around it. So over time, you're not just using social media, you're living inside a version of reality that was built specifically for you. And that's where things start to change without you even noticing it. Because when you're constantly seeing the same type of content, the same opinions, and the same angles, your brain starts to accept it as normal. Not because you sat down and thought it through, but because you've been exposed to it over and over again. That's how the algorithm really works. It's not trying to educate you. It's not trying to show you both sides of the aisle. It's trying to keep you there. So it feeds you what you already lean towards. And then pushes you a little further, then a little further, then a little further, until one day, you're sitting there with strong opinions. You don't even remember where the hell you got the information from. And the wild part is, you'll defend them like they're 100% your own thoughts. But if you really stop and think about it, did you come to that conclusion on your own? Or were you guided there? Because the more you scroll, the less you're exploring new ideas. And the more you're reinforcing the same ones. You're not expanding your thinking. You're narrowing it. And when that happens, your world gets smaller and smaller, even though it feels like you're seeing more than ever. And you can actually see the effects of this in real life. Look at most people's attention spans. People can't even sit through a full video anymore without checking something else. Everything has to be fast, quick, and instant. If it doesn't grab you in the first few seconds, you're gone. That's not by accident. That's what constant scrolling does to your brain. It trains you to need more, faster. And it's not just attention. It's how we react to things now. People get angrier quicker, argue faster, jump to conclusions without even thinking things through. Because you're used to reacting. And I have the same flaws. I made this podcast specifically to not only just share my opinions, but to show that I'm trying to see both sides of the conversation without the scrutiny of an argument. But let's get back. You're used to reacting, not reflecting. And then there's this thing called validation. Likes, views, comments. That little hit you get when your post does well, that's called dopamine. And once your brain gets used to releasing that, you start chasing it. Posting certain things, saying certain opinions, not because you fully believe them, but because you know it will get a reaction. So now it's not even just the app influencing what you see, it's influencing how you act, how you think, and how you present yourself to this world. And the crazy part is, most people don't even realize it's happening. And if you think it stops at social media, it doesn't. Because now there's this thing in our world that is becoming more and more terrifying. AI is stepping into the same place as social media in our brains, but it's doing it better. The algorithm shows you what you like. But AI can understand you. It can learn how you talk, how you think, and what you respond to emotionally, and then adjust itself accordingly in real time. So now you're not just being shown content, you're interacting with something that's learning as you interact with it. And the more you interact with it, the better it gets at keeping your attention, at keeping you engaged, at keeping you comfortable. And that's where it gets dangerous and so freaking scary. Because AI doesn't just feed you information, it can shape how that information is delivered. The tone, the wording, and the angle that it presents itself. Everything can be adjusted specifically for you. You could give two people the same topic, and they will both walk away with completely different perspectives, just based on how it was presented to them for their niche. And when that happens, you're not just living in your own feed anymore, you're living in your own version of your own reality, built around you, shaped for you, and reinforced every single day. Not by accident, but by design. So when you really step back and look at it, it's not just social media, and it's not just AI. It's the way everything around us is constantly learning, and what keeps your attention, and feeding it right back to you. Not to make you smarter, not to challenge you, but to keep you engaged. And the longer you stay in that cycle, the easier it is to mistake influence for your own thoughts. Because nothing is forced on you, nothing feels fake. It all feels natural. It feels like you. And that's what makes it so powerful. But honestly, it is so freaking terrifying. And I know I keep saying that word, but I'm really trying to get to you guys here. How social media and AI can reframe your brain. Because if you never stop to question what you're seeing, if you never step outside of what you're constantly fed, then how do you know what you actually believe and what was built for you to believe? I'm not saying you need to delete your Facebook, delete your Twitter, your Snapchat, whatever, or completely disconnect, but you need to be aware. You need to question things. You need to do your own research, non-social media, non-AI related. You need to step back sometimes and ask yourself, did I come to this conclusion on my own, or was I led here? Because at the end of the day, if you don't take control of what you consume, something else will. And you might go your whole life thinking you're in control of it without ever realizing you've been rewired this entire time. This is manufactured minds. And this is all I got for today, but I really wanted to take a second to appreciate everybody that's given me comments. I know the audio was a little scuffed on the last one. That's my bad. I'm figuring this out as I go. This is the first time I've ever done like a podcast format sort of thing. But like I said, I really appreciate people that I don't know and I do know. Because like I said in the first episode, it's not that I'm trying to only voice my opinion. It's more or less I want to do it without the scrutiny of an argument. Because it is so hard in this world to have a civilized argument without portrayals of certain things one way or the other. But that's all I got for today. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. There is a Facebook page. It's called PSIND. Same picture as the format of the video. I do polls there for each episode, or at least I'm going to moving forward. So if you would like any insight on any episode moving forward, that's where you should go. Alright, that's all I got for today, guys. Peace.